Okay, so let me make sure that we got all this working properly. Make sure everything is good. Go to my YouTube on my phone. And there we go. Yeah, there's me. We're up. Everything's good. Excellent. All right, so last episode we opened up the Joker from allegedly from the 1989 Batman movie, but we all know better, right? We know that this isn't Jack Nicholson as the Joker from the 1989 Batman movie, right? Because they had some rights issues, and they just basically did the best that they could without having to give Jack Nicholson all of the money. So Toy Bunny is here and says, "Hey guys, what's up? Hello, Alan. Hello to you. Welcome." So always good to see you. Yeah, today we got an unambiguously Heath Ledger Joker from The Dark Knight. And here it says The Dark Knight Trilogy. And here we got the logo for the movie The Dark Knight. It's kind of funny how it's called The Dark Knight Trilogy, even though Dark Knight is actually like the second movie. It's not usually like we don't talk about the Empire Strikes Back trilogy or the Two Towers trilogy. Either it's just got its own name, like Lord of the Rings, or we name it after the first movie, like Star Wars. So, but in this case, it's the second movie because like the second movie kind of like stole all. Batman Begins is a really good movie. Like I'm not trying to talk any smack about it. I love Batman Begins, but the Dark Knight did kind of like steal all the thunder of it. And I kind of feel like people have kind of like reappraised Batman Begins in the years since. And it's gained back some of the cachet that it had. But for a while there, like it was just kind of people just kind of forgot about Batman Begins and would just talk, oh, the Dark Knight was so great. And the Dark Knight was great. Let's not get it twisted. The Dark Knight, I think, is probably like the best movie of the three. It's definitely like the in terms of like the quality of the film, I think it's definitely the best of the three. Personally, and I'll probably talk more about this in the next episode. The one that I enjoy watching the most is actually The Dark Knight Rises. And I'm not saying it's the best of the three. It's certainly not the best of the three. But it's the one that I think is the most fun to watch. That's just me. But The Dark Knight is just a great film. And I remember watching it in the theater for the first time and thinking to myself while I was watching it, it's like, man, this is like Christopher Nolan is like really trying to make a serious Batman movie here. Like not just he's trying to make a film. He's trying to make something like The Godfather or Goodfellas or Heat. He's trying to make something like that with Batman, and it's working. Like I think it was like at the point where like you had the scene in the hospital between the Joker and Harvey Dent. Really the scene where he really becomes, not the scene where he gets disfigured, but the scene where he really becomes Two-Face is in that hospital scene. And it was just a phenomenal thing to watch. Anyway, this is the second release of this figure, I believe. And it might have some paint differences. I don't know, because I was never able to get Mcfarlane's first release of the Heath Ledger Joker. That whole wave was like really hard to find. And I never saw any of those Dark Knight figures in the store. I never saw any of them. Like they sold out online. I can't snap right now. I don't know why I can't snap. There we go. Like that. It's a lot faster than I can snap, apparently. And I like the only ones I was ever able to find in retail were the Jokerized variants of Two-Face and Scarecrow. And I don't like Jokerized variants like to begin with. And I especially wasn't really interested in Jokerized variants of those characters. So, and that meant I wasn't able to build the Bane figure. But hey, they also, not that one. That's Black Hawk. But I had him over here for a reason. I was gonna open them eventually, but I wanted to so they got Bane re-released too. So I was able to get those. So now I just try to have to get Two-Face since they had like a Scarecrow figure. I have a Scarecrow figure, and now I have Joker and Bane. I just really need to get Two-Face. But yeah, so check this out. So if most of these DC figures are since they are considered to be adult collectibles, they are ages 12 and up. But I noticed that with since they can do guns now, that's good. But apparently, if they're going to do guns, they have to mark the figures as being 17 and up and put this thing at the bottom that says collector's age 17. So like I was talking about in the previous video with the not the Jake Nicholson Joker, I was talking about how that one had guns, and that one it's like this one is an R-rated figure basically, because an R rating in a movie means you can't buy a ticket unless you're 17 or older, or you're accompanied by somebody 21 or older. And so yeah, this is an R-rated action figure from a PG-13 movie. And I got to say, while I'm glad that Mcfarlane was able to find a way to pack guns in with their figures, and I'm sure glad they were able to find a way to pack guns in with their figures. I don't know who it was who signed off on this at DC or Warner Brothers or whatever, but this is some virtue signally shit if I've ever seen it before. Because like nobody can. If I was a parent and my 12-year-old son wanted this Joker figure, I would have no problem with him owning it. It's got guns, big deal. Like so many action figures when I was a kid had guns. G.I. Joe figures have guns. Like, it's the previous Mattel during their previous reign over DC, when they were doing DC Universe Classics, those figures came with guns. So like if it was appropriate to the character, yeah, sure, Vigilante came with guns. That's how it went. If it was a character that it made sense for them to have a gun, they had a gun. DC / Warner Brothers was not so gun shy, for lack of a better term, in those days. And I don't know who's in charge now, but for them to go, it's okay as long as you just put it for 17 or older, that just seems kind of performative, and you're just doing that so you feel better about your decision. Honestly, that's what I think. So while I am glad that they did find some kind of loophole, I still think it's kind of lame that they needed to find a loophole in the first place, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, we got a Joker figure with lots of cool accessories, and it's an excellent likeness of Heath Ledger. We'll get a closer look at that in a moment. We got nice picture of Heath Ledger in the role of the Joker. Like rest in peace, guy. I think this kind of broke your brain a little bit, unfortunately, but you left us a great movie to appreciate. So I got the tape cut on the bottom. There's not any tape on the sides, which is nice. And I do want to point out also that the Joker's box has a nice jokery purple for the not like most theatrical editions have blue, but the Joker's got purple and Bane's got silver. So that's kind of different. But let's go ahead and open them up, because I've been looking forward to this one for a while. And they did like an interrogation room Joker figure. They wound up reusing the parts for the BVS Alfred. And they reused the parts for this Joker figure for a couple other figures, like Sandman. You might remember reuses some of these parts. And The Question, I think, is an entire reuse of the body. Man, this tape is strong. It tore the backing there. So you see it's got the logo for the Dark on there, because the night part is completely covered up. And I don't even know if the night part is going to survive once we peel off the figure stand and the trading card, which, by the way, are on the same bubble, which I always appreciate. And let's see if we can get it off without ruining the Dark Knight logo, if it'll still be legible afterwards. Yeah, the trading card It came out of the blister so easily, but it was like static clinging to the backing. And then we got the DC logo with the classic DC logo on the matte figure stand, kind of typical. It's white paint, kind of typical of what we've been getting these days out of this. And we've got this like with the Superman the movie figure, he's got this big movie poster kind of prop to put in the back, half standing behind your figure, because it'll have the little stands to hold it up. And I don't think I'm going to put it together this time. But I'll show you how it works. But this actually has two sides to it with two different... if I show... I don't remember if I... Yeah, I think I did show you with the Superman one, because I talked about the logo, but let's go ahead and have a look at the Superman one. So the Superman one had the teaser poster, "You Will Believe a Man Can Fly," on one side, and then just had the logo on the other side, which I don't believe that was actually a poster, but that is what the cover of the soundtrack looked like, the John Williams soundtrack album. But this one's got two different posters. These actually were theatrical posters. One with the Joker standing in the middle of the street with that World War II bad guy machine gun. That was, you remember, this is a scene with Batman and the Bat Pod, and Batman wrecked the tractor trailer truck the Joker was riding around in. So that's from that scene. And then this one here with the Joker writing "Why So Serious" on there with somebody's blood and a little smiley face. So, trying to give a little bit of a mystery to the Joker, trying to not give a full reveal yet. The funny thing is, when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, like, everybody's kind of like, huh? Like Guy from A Knight's Tale? Like, 10 Things I Hate About You? Heath Ledger's a great actor, folks. And, like, I think at that time, even then, he'd been in Brokeback Mountain, but people were still kind of like, Heath Ledger is the Joker. What are you talking? Like, people were talking about, like, Crispin Glover or Adrian Brody, and both of whom I think would have been great as the Joker. They were both people that I'd considered, actually. But, I was kind of like, well, let's see. He's a good actor. Let's see what he does. I think the thing is that, like, Heath Ledger was kind of like a little more classically handsome than you typically think of the Joker as being. And if you were going to cast Heath Ledger in a Batman movie, you probably would have thought to cast him as Batman before you would have thought to cast him as the Joker. CS, the director, is here and says, awesome. I also have this Joker along with the first release. Yeah, I was never able to find that first release, so you got me beat there. Mcfarlane is milking it one last time before the DC license is done for good. Yeah, like that's definitely the case. But personally, like I said, I'm glad of it because I missed out on that first release. Like it was just there and it was gone like a puff of smoke. I was never able to get it. So now I have it and I'm happy. All right, so let's get some of these other accessories out of here. But yeah, like, then they put out the first image they put out of Heath Ledger's the Joker was just kind of a close-up of his face with like this neutral expression. And I think even then people were still kind of like, just didn't get it. They were kind of like, that's it? That's what the Joker looks like in this movie? And I don't think it was until like they saw like actual footage of him and saw what he was doing with the character that people were like, okay, yeah, I'm starting to dig this. This looks good, and people were starting to get really excited about it. And then tragically passed away far too early. Like the Joker, like he'd won an Oscar for Brokeback Mountain, and he was good in that movie. But I still kind of feel like he was that was still almost kind of like a little more niche. And the Joker is going to be like a mainstream character in like a huge blockbuster movie. And I think that would have been the thing that would have made Heath Ledger just like really explode and really blow up as an A-list actor, as the A-list actor he deserved to be, quite frankly. But unfortunately, 'twas not meant to be. But great actor, and I'll always remember him for a lot of the movies that I enjoyed him. And I actually really liked 10 Things I Hate About You. I thought that was a fun movie. I liked him in The Patriot. I thought he was really good in that. And A Knight's Tale is another fun movie. So, but like, it's easy to see how like he could have just fallen into the trap of being like kind of a teen idol kind of actor. But he actually had a lot of talent. So it's a shame we lost him so soon. But there's the missile launcher, which of course he uses that to blow up the Batmobile, the Tumbler. A lot of cool accessories in here. And of course, he has to come with a knife because guns are too quick. You don't get to savor all the little emotions. But yeah, it's a nice knife. You can see how it's one of those where like the it extends from the handle. So that's pretty cool. And then we got the World War II era bad guy machine gun from the bad guys in World War II. And that's a cool weapon. That's one that, like, if you did get the Sergeant Rock figure that came out a while back, this would be a good weapon to swipe and give it to Sergeant Rock, I think. But I never got that Sergeant Rock figure. Even besides, if we ignore the fact that it didn't come with guns, which it really should have come with guns, I just wasn't that impressed with the figure overall. Which is too bad, because I really like Sergeant Rock as a character, and I would love to have a figure of Sergeant Rock in this scale if it like really looked like the Joe Kubert artwork. And I don't see any point in having a Sergeant Rock figure that doesn't look like Joe Kubert drew it. You know what I mean? So, and then we got a handgun, an automatic pistol with an extended magazine there. So that's pretty cool. And then we got some extra hands. So let's talk about these extra hands. Get these out. And on the figure, he's got a gripping hand on his right hand and a solid fist on his left hand. And I can tell you right now that solid fist is not going to stay on there. But there we have, for the right hand, we have kind of a gesturing hand, as I like to call those. And then we got a gripping hand for the left hand. I don't have to cut the tape for that. I can just pull it out. So he can dual wield some weapons if you want him to. So that's good. There's that gripping hand, so you guys can get a look at that. Very cool. And this one looks to have like it's a pointing finger, but it's just kind of a slight pointing finger. But this is a good figure to have a good, I like pointing hands like in general, but this is a good one to have for the Heath Ledger Joker specifically because of one of my favorite parts that he has in the movie is the scene where they're all meeting in that kitchen and Mr. Lau is on the television set and the Joker has one of my favorite lines the Joker has in the entire movie, which is where he's like, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers. And so you gotta have that pointing finger. That's 100% necessary. But if there's one hand that I think is even more important for any Joker figure, and this is not any exception, is the hand holding the playing card. We always want to have some playing card hands with our Joker, right? That would be one that I feel like is missing from the Jake Nicholson figure. I think that one would have been a good thing to have. They could have even reused the same hand. But you can see, I don't know if you can focus in on that, if I can get it to focus. But check that out. It is the Joker playing card. Well, they had lots of different Joker playing cards in the movie, but it's one of the Joker playing cards that was actually in the movie. The main one I remember from the movie anyway. I guess if they had, and it's printed on the back too. They didn't have to print it on the back, but they did. So I guess he's holding more than one. But yeah, like... I guess if they had done the one for 89, they would have had to use the Joker playing card from the 89 movie and maybe maybe legal wouldn't sign off on that. And then the Joker's last accessory is the trading card stand, which has the Dark Knight Trilogy logo on there again, and that'll hold a trading card. Let's go ahead and read the trading card, since I haven't done that yet, before I forget. So here's the trading card with a close-up look of Heath Ledger's face as the Joker. It says Deluxe Theatrical Edition on it. This has silver foil. Doesn't match with the purple on the packaging. That's what the back looks like, and it reads, The Joker, The Dark Knight, real name unknown. He is unknown in this. They didn't say what the Joker's real name was in this version. Let's see. No name strikes terror in... Wait a minute. This seems familiar. Nope, it's different. Okay, so we'll go ahead and read it, since it is... But I do think that this is just... As I'm looking at it, this doesn't seem like a bio of the movie version of the Joker. This seems like a bio of just kind of a general version of the Joker. But we'll go ahead and read it anyway. No name strikes terror in the hearts of Gotham City's citizens quite like the Joker. In a city overrun with larger-than-life criminals, this always laughing villain stands alone, a complete psychopath with no moral compass whatsoever. The Joker, whose real name and identity remain completely unknown, is characterized by his chalk white skin, green hair, and a permanent rictus grin stretched across his face. Now, that does not describe this version of the character, who wears makeup and has scars that resemble a smile, but not an actual rictus grin. And he does have green hair. I'll give him that, because he dyes his hair green, but whatever. But there isn't a single thing funny about this particular clown, who only finds humor in the suffering of others. Again, pretty decent bio of the Joker, like as a general character, but I don't know. I don't think it really specifically describes this version, is what I'm saying. Like that could just be like any version of the Joker, really. So I'm a little disappointed. I would like for them to put more effort into the bios in general. And I kind of feel like that's one where, like, you could just put that on like any Joker figure and nobody would really complain. All right, so let's go ahead and get the Joker out of the package, and then we can have a look at him. And like I said, I've been over this body type before a couple of times, because the Sandman uses most of these parts, and the Question uses most of these parts, if not all of these parts. So let's go ahead and talk about this figure. Now, first of all, I want to say that, like, while this is a great looking figure in general, I think that Mcfarlane could have done a better job with the paint on this. First of all, and this is definitely a nitpick. Don't mistake this for anything but a nitpick. You see this shirt, it's just kind of a plain bluish gray shirt, and I guess it's accurate to the color that his shirt is in the movie. However, if you got an attention to detail for the movie, like I do, you might remember that it wasn't like a plain, like a solid blue shirt. It had like a honeycomb kind of pattern over it. And I think that was, kind of an intentional design choice to have a honeycomb pattern of all things. You can read all kinds of symbolism into that. But yeah, Mcfarlane didn't do that. And you might be like, well, Alan, maybe, you're being a little too harsh on him, like having to put an extra pattern on there, and like that might be kind of complicated. Well, think back to when this movie first came out all those years ago, and Mattel, during their first reign as the DC toy makers, made their Movie Master Joker figure. They actually managed to get the pattern into that one all those years ago. So I see no reason why in the year of our Lord 2026, Mcfarlane Toys couldn't get that honeycomb pattern onto that shirt. So that's a little disappointing. Just a little. This is a nitpick. It's just a nitpick. So don't take it too seriously. But worse than that, my main complaint about the paint job on this figure, and I don't know if like I think the coat might be a little on the reddish side. Just my personal opinion. I'd probably rather that be a little more like the same color as his pants. But this color of green on the vest is just not doing it for me at all. Like, for one thing, I think this should just be a darker green in general, more like an emerald, like a somewhere between an emerald green and a forest green, like a battle cat kind of green. But it's a little too light here, I think. And worse, I could tolerate it being a little too light, but worse than that is, like, look how glossy this paint is. Why did they use such a glossy paint there? They really should have used something a lot more matte for this vest. I don't know why they made the decision to go with this glossy paint. That's just strange. But that having been said, other than these nitpicks that I have, well, that one I'd say is more of a criticism. That's definitely a criticism. But I think they did an excellent job with the likeness of Heath Ledger. They did a good job replicating the prosthetics on the cheeks and the makeup. And like they did an interesting thing with the makeup here, because they wanted to look all sloppy, so they'd have him like scrunch up his face as much as possible when they were putting the makeup on there. So there'd be like, you wrinkle up your forehead and you just kind of rub the grease paint over it, and you're still gonna have like, see where the wrinkles in the forehead, they're still gonna be like flesh colored, and you see the little flesh colored lines where his actual skin is showing through the makeup. That's pretty cool. I like that. They did a really good job with that. And his hair has got like lots of detail to it. Like, you can see where it's like it's brown hair that's got this green coloring over it, and they did a really good job with that. And look at the eye makeup is nice and detailed, and you see where it's like running in some parts where you'd be all sweaty or whatever. And like, I remember my friend Trevor Hawkins, when he saw the Heath Ledger design of the Joker, he's like, he looks like you can smell him through the picture. and yeah, that's definitely the case. So he's got his purple overcoat, and this is another thing where I think like Mattel actually had a little more attention to detail than Mcfarlane, is that he's supposed to be wearing like a gray suit jacket underneath the purple overcoat, and McFarlane did not put that suit jacket in there. It's just not there at all. But the old Mattel figure actually did have where there was like a little bit of a gray suit jacket that you could see there. It's not something a lot of people would notice, but I noticed it. And then he's got the pinstripes are kind of sculpted into the pants. Got brown shoes. So there we go. Kind of reminds me of the old Mego Joker figure, how he had brown shoes. So that's nice. Let's go ahead and talk about his articulation a little bit. So the Joker can't look up very far because he's got that long hair. He can look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, and they've got some good butterfly movement there. He doesn't have spacers because the jacket does the job for that. The Joker's arms raise up to the sides about that far. He's got a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows. And got excellent range of motion at the elbows. And he's got the cool McFarlane wrist articulation. So the wrist rotates all the way around where the wrist meets the hand. Rotates all the way around where the wrist meets the forearm. Although it does seem a little stuck on mine. I'll have to fix that later. And then it's got this hinge, so you can pretty much move this hand around any which way you want to. Very cool. The ball joint underneath is the same color purple as his jacket, which continues the McFarlane tradition of using the opposite color of joint that I think they should use, because I'm pretty sure that the elbow, the wrist joint should probably actually match up with his hand. Rather, it should be part of his glove, not part of his sleeve. You know what I mean? So, but again, that's typical of McFarlane. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and pull this fist hand off of here, because my Joker is going to be constantly displayed as holding the playing cards. So that's going to be how I'm going to have my Joker displayed. So, and we'll put one of the guns or one of the knives or something in his hand for the thumbnail picture, but I haven't decided what yet. Where was I? Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure the Joker has some kind of torso articulation up under the vest, although I can't see it, so I'm not sure how it works. But you can move him from side to side fairly well. He bends back about that far. I didn't mute the mic. I don't know why that happened. That was a weird thing. So where was I? Oh yeah, so I don't know where you guys would have left off since it decided to just randomly mute my microphone. I don't computer being weird. So I guess these sort of things happen. So anyway, the Joker can kick up about that far. He can do the splits, no problem. Not a whole lot of wiggle here. Sometimes you get like a little bit of movement here, but there's a little bit, just not a lot. Got double jointed knees. That's about the range of motion you get at the knees. The trench coat doesn't even seem to overcoat, I should say. Doesn't even seem to interfere with it that much. So that's good. And then he's got ankle articulation that points down about that far, points up about that far. Again, pants legs are going to kind of get in the way. Even though he does have the cool Mcfarlane ankle articulation, it just can't be used to the best of its ability because of the pants leg. So let's have a look at him with some of these accessories, because I know you guys will want to see him with some of his accessories. And let's start with this rocket launcher and get that into his hand. And he does have a trigger finger, so we can fit the trigger finger into the trigger guard. And there he is with the rocket launcher about to blow up the Batmobile. So that's pretty cool. And we got to get him with the knife. So and his hands seem to be like kind of. I just pulled the hand off. That's going to leave it off. I'm just going to leave it off for now. It's going to make it easier. The hands do seem like a little more pliable than Mcfarlane hands often are, but not a whole lot. But I'm able to fit these accessories in there fairly well. So there he is with the knife. And we can get an overhanded look at that too. For when he's threatening Maggie Gyllenhaal. Yeah, Maggie Gyllenhaal directed that movie The Bride recently, and that thing tanked so hard. But people were making fun of her on the internet, and they were maybe being a little harsh about her looks. And they were I've seen where somebody said like, "Yeah, when the Joker called Maggie Gyllenhaal beautiful, that's when you knew he was crazy." She was cute back in the day. I don't think that's fair. Maybe not as cute as Katie Holmes. I'll give it that. So, and then we have the automatic pistol. So let's go ahead and put that in his hand there. I generally don't like it when they recast actors anyway. And Maggie Gyllenhaal might be a more talented actor than Katie Holmes, I guess. But even still, like I probably would have rather they just stuck with the same actor. Just even if you consider that an upgrade, like I'd probably rather just have the same actor for continuity's sake. But there he is with the automatic pistol, very cool. And last but not least, the World War II submachine gun from the bad guys in World War II. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. It's the Germans. So, and that looks cool. So he can be shooting at Batman while he's on the Bat Pod. I think I'm going to leave him with that one for the thumbnail. But yeah, they did a great job with this figure. There's certain things, like I said, that certainly could have been done better. And the main thing, and this is, I'm gonna repaint this. I don't care, I don't care about the value of the figure. I'm gonna repaint this vest. Like that vest is just bugging me. Like even if it's like the color is slightly off, I probably could have tolerated that. But it's the glossiness of it that's really bothering me. But other than that, it's a good figure. I kind of feel like, as much as I dislike the way they did the vest, there's so much good about this figure that it definitely makes up for it. And especially that they decided to actually give him some guns. That's nice. And like I said, if you got some other, since he comes with so many of them, a lot of these characters now that are coming with guns, like they seem to be making up for lost time. And with Blackhawk, you can see how Blackhawk just comes with a whole arsenal of guns. He's got this Tommy gun is another one that I kind of feel like if you got you got the Blackhawk figure, obviously, but if you get the Blackhawk figure and you already have the Sergeant Rock figure that didn't come with any guns, that's another good gun to give to Sergeant Rock. So I might wind up, he's still fairly affordable. I might wind up trying to get the Sergeant Rock figure so I can do a video about it, even though I don't think it's a very good figure. But it might be a fun episode just to talk about that Sergeant Rock figure. And besides, like I said, now I have other options where I have other guns that I can give to him. So that's cool. But the likeness of Heath Ledger is excellent, and they did a really good job with the paint applications on the makeup and the hair and everything like that. He looks really good as far as that goes. Like the one problem, the one serious problem. Why so serious? I'll tell you why so serious. Because this vest, it's so glossy that it looks like he's wearing a plastic, like a vinyl sort of vest, and it's just not movie accurate. So I'm gonna have to repaint that myself. That's something that I'm gonna do that myself. Damn the fact that this is probably gonna be an expensive action figure, and people are probably gonna hate me that but it's gonna make it look so much better. I'm gonna have to repaint this vest. That's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, that's it for the Joker. I don't know when our next episode's gonna be, because I know I've got to work early the next couple of days, and so I'm not sure. At the latest, I would hope that my next episode would be Thursday or Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, but I might even be really tired by then, so I might shoot for Thursday anyway. But yeah, Thursday I think would probably be worst case scenario, the latest. That maybe Friday, but I don't know. But the next episode, we're going to open up our second of the Dark Knight trilogy figures that I have to open, which is Bane, the man who broke the bat. So I've got him to open, and then I've got a lot of other cool DC stuff to open, because I've got Black Hawk, and I've got the Lex Luthor 2025 figure that I got on clearance. I did wind up buying some of the 2025 Superman figures, but only because they were on clearance. I've been mostly wallets closed about that movie, and I kind of don't feel bad about buying something on clearance, because I kind of figure they're not making their money on it at that point anyway. They're just looking to get rid of it. So and if I see the figures at Ollie's, I might buy them. But oh, I almost forgot. I brought the Christian Bale Batman over here so we can see there's Batman and the Joker together. Now obviously this is the Batman Begins version, because again I wasn't able to get the Dark Knight version, but frankly I kind of feel like the Batman Begins suit works better as an action figure than the Dark Knight suit, because it's just a little less cluttered. I think I talked about that when I opened this figure up. I do love this figure. It's a great figure. That's not to say I wouldn't want to have the Dark Knight Batman if I can ever get a hold of that one. But if this is the only Christian Bale Batman that I have for the Mcfarlane line, I'll be happy with the one that I have. We'll put it that way. So, but anyway, I think that's it for the Joker. There's nothing left in this box. So we don't have anything else to talk about. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do after Bane, because I know I got a lot of Masters Universe stuff to open up, and I got the 3 Clawful figures that I want to open, and those are all going to be like, I want to do all 3 of those in a row. I've got a lot of the 2000X cartoon collection figures to open up. We got Prince Adam, we got Zodak, we got Skeletor, we got Man-at-Arms, we got Stratos, we got Triclops, we got Beastman, and I want to try to get Evelyn before I get into opening the whole big batch of those. And they've got the wave coming up, I think next month, that's going to have Tila and Merman, and that wave of figure looks awesome. I really like that Merman figure, and I've always really liked that design of Tila on the cartoon show. So I'm looking forward to open up those. We got some G.I. Joe stuff to open up. We got some Marvel stuff to open up. I know, like, Marvel is a property that seems somewhat neglected around this channel, but I've managed to pick up a couple of cool Marvel items here and there. So we'll have some Marvel stuff to open up. But I think that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe. All the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this Heath Ledger Joker figure. And if you're somebody like CS the director who was lucky enough to get the previous release of the Heath Ledger Joker figure, do you think this one's worth a double dip? I mean, I figure some people might want to pick him up just to get the extra guns and whatnot. But personally, I kind of feel like this is one for people like me that really wanted those previous Dark Knight figures and unfortunately didn't get a chance to pick those up. Why don't we get a look at the 2 Jokers next to each other? That's like 2 generations of live action Joker. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.